What is going on, guys? Sonic and the Bean Show here. Today we are looking at the brand new Marvel Legends Spider-Man No Way Home, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and the Amazing Spider-Man figures. So this is going to be a 2-in-1 review since there's not a lot to really go over here, since I did technically review these from the No Way Home 3-pack. I believe the unmasked head sculpts are the only thing new here on these two, since the figures look about the same. But we are going to compare them and go over as usual. Now, the Andrew Garfield figure has the Amazing Spider-Man 2 packaging. That must have something to do with the licensing rights of Andrew Garfield. So if the packaging would have had Spider-Man No Way Home on it, then they wouldn't be able to put an unmasked head sculpt of Andrew Garfield, which is what happened with the No Way Home 3-pack and the SH figure arts. So they all have the same sort of design really, but Spider-Man No Way Home and then the Amazing Spider-Man right here. But here is a closer look at the Andrew Garfield right here. So we got the figure with the accessories, Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then Marvel Legends, and then the Spider-Man symbol right there. And then here is the back of the packaging right here. So you can see the same shot we've seen, and then we actually do get a bio read up here if you want to pause and read that. And that is Andrew Garfield right there. And here is Toby Maguire. So Toby is going to be the same as, Tom and basically everyone else, really. But yeah, looking pretty nice right there. But again, I think the figures do look about the same, though. And then here is the back right there. And then there is the bio read up there. So yeah, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And then the same image we've already seen. So that was it right there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack these out of the packaging and take a closer look. Okay, so the first figure we're going to be looking at here is the Toby Maguire Spider-Man figure. I actually like this unmasked head sculpt. I actually think this does look like Toby Maguire right here. I don't know. I think it does actually look like him in a way. Now, I don't think it captures the way how he looked in No Way Home, but I think this right here captures like a young Toby Maguire figure, like from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. I do actually dig this a whole lot. But again, I don't think it looks exactly like how he is, from No Way Home. I just think this is like a good younger Toby Maguire, and I like it, honestly. I mean, that's kind of why I was mainly excited for this figure in the first place, and while I was kind of messing around with it with the Green Goblin, with the Goblin head sculpt, because I was just trying to do scenes from that Spider-Man movie, so this right here actually works for me. But yeah, I personally like this head sculpt. Maybe in some angles it doesn't look like him. I'm seeing it I think some things are a little bit off. I don't know if it's just the eyes, but I definitely do see Toby in this head sculpt, though. I do actually like this. Now, the rest of the figure is pretty much the same. There's nothing else really new, just like I thought. Everything is pretty much the same. So here's the one from the No Way Home 3-pack. Everything is pretty much the same thing. There's no shading with the red or the blue. Nothing's lighter or darker that I'm seeing here. It's pretty much the exact same figure. Peg holes at the bottom. Yeah, pretty much that. So nothing new going on. It's really the same figure, just the new unmasked head sculpt. But I'm okay with this because, well, one, more Tobey Maguire figures for me, but also because I have one with the mask and then one without the mask. So I am totally cool with that. Now, the accessories, though, is the disappointment on this figure. So the thing is that the figure, this one right here that came with the 3-pack, that came with all of the hands, the fisted hands, the wall crawling hands, and then the thwipping hands. This one, on the other hand, you have these hands that you get once you take the figure out of the packaging. You have this one wall crawling hand and then one fisted hand, and then the only other interchangeable hands you get here are the thwipping hands right here. So you got your pair of thwipping hands here. They still look okay. You got like the gunmetal gray here on the web lines, and they're also sculpted. That's okay, but that's actually it. You don't get another pair of another fisted hands or another wall crawling hand. So that's unfortunate right there. But it's okay if you own the 3-pack, because you already get all those hands. And then the last accessory is, of course, the the mask head sculpt right here. So I'll actually pop this on. Okay, so here's the figure right here with the mask head sculpt, and then here it is compared to the other one right here. So yeah, like I said, they are pretty much about the same, really, that I wanted to show off. Okay, now for the articulation, so the head is on a dumbbell joint, so you can have him look up just about there and then down, just about there. Not so much to really look down without using the diaphragm joint or the inverted ab crunch right there. You do have some pivoting going on, which actually isn't too bad on this guy. I think it's actually okay. And then of course you have your rotation going on there. For the shoulders, full rotation there, hinge to the shoulder, goes high about here, and then you have your butterfly joints, which isn't really the best on this guy. I can't really get a whole lot movement with the butterfly joints going on there, but you do have your bicep swivel, your double jointed pinless elbows, you get that much range, and then you have your rotation to the wrist with the standard horizontal hinge. Now for the diaphragm joint to the side, you get that much, well, without moving the head, and then you get this much to the side right there. Not much to, well, you can't really go forward at all using that, or back, but the inverted ab crunch does help a little bit more. As you can see, you can have him crunch forward just about there, and then back. Well, I mean, you break his back by doing that, but you get that much range right there. Now for the hips, out to the side is not really the best, of course. You only just get just about there. Now there are drop down hips on this guy, so without using the drop down hips, he can kick forward pretty high up about here, and then using the drop down hips, he can kick higher just about there really. You do have your upper thigh cut, and he kicks back, well, not really, but you have your double jointed pinless knees, you get that much bend, and then the ankles, they go back about there, forward about there, and then you have your ankle rocker. Okay, and next up is going to be the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man figure, and this unmasked head sculpt actually looks pretty good too. I do think the hair is a little too dark though. It's like it is actually brown, but they made it too dark of a brown. It's definitely a little too dark here, but yeah, it definitely needs to be a little bit lighter than this. But the head sculpt though, like the face doesn't really look too bad. I can still see Andrew Garfield here, so yeah, they definitely nailed it here on the faces. I think all three of the Spider-Mans, you know, well, I mean, Tom's wasn't like a new one, it was a re-release, but Andrew's and Toby's, I think they actually did a pretty good job with them. But same thing with Toby. The figure is pretty much the same way. So here's the one from the the No Way Home 3-pack. As you can see, everything is pretty much the same. Nothing going on there. No different shading with the red and blue that I'm seeing here. Everything still looks about the same. So it is still the same figure, but just the unmasked head right there. But still pretty cool, and this is actually a good figure. I mean, if you didn't grab this figure, I would definitely like pick it up now that you got the chance, because this is a pretty good Andrew Garfield figure. But it is still cool to have one with the mask and one without the mask, so that's really cool right there. Now for the accessories, so you do get the tooth whipping hands once you get the figure out of the packaging right there, but the other accessories you get here, you have one interchangeable wall crawling hand and then one fisted hand, and I don't know what that was right there, but yeah, you do get one wall crawling hand and then a fisted hand right there. So he's gonna get the same treatment as Toby, where he's not gonna get all of the interchangeable hands really. You'll just have to have to deal with that, unfortunately. But of course you have the masked head sculpt right here, and then if you want to see how this looks next to this, they are pretty much the same. Okay, now let's get into the articulation. So the head is also on a dumbbell joint. He can't really look up though due to the hair sculpt, but to look down, it's pretty decent. I think that's okay from the look down. You have your pivoting going on with the head, and then of course your rotation going on there. Full rotation to the shoulders as well. Hinge, they go high just about here. We do have our butterfly joints, but these are also not the best. As you can see, there's not really a whole lot of range with the shoulders, so yeah, not so much going on there. But you do have your bicep swivel, your double jointed pinless elbows, you get that much bend, and then your rotation to the wrist and your standard horizontal hinge right there. For the diaphragm to the side, you only just get this much, not really the best going on there. And then the front, not so much. I mean, you can't really go at all. And then the back, yeah, you can't really do anything with that. But the inverted ab crunch back, just about there, and then forward, it's actually pretty good. I mean, using the hips is pretty good too. But yeah, it's pretty good for forward right there. Now for the hips out to the side, it's pretty good. I think it's actually better than Toby's. So out to the side for splits right there, and then there is drop down hips on this guy as well. So kicking forward, it goes high about here, and then using the drop down hips, you can have it high about there. Kicking back, it's okay. Kick back about there. You do have your thigh swivel right there, and then your double jointed pinless knees, you get that much bend. And then for the ankles, they go back just about there, far forward about there, and then your ankle rocker. Alright, and now for some figure comparison. So here we have the Marvel Legends next to the SH Figure Arts, and I wanted to show both of them side by side here, just show off like the unmasked head sculpts, just to give you an idea of what they both look like. Here's how he looks with the Marvel Legends Green Goblin figure, who is also unmasked. And then finally, here is all three Spider-Mans with the unmasked head sculpts, and this is a really cool comparison right here. It's really cool to finally have all three of them in figure form, like, you know, like unmasked here. Just try to get them situated here, and yeah, there you go. So now we got all three of the Spider-Mans in the classic red and blue suit right here. So yeah, this is a really cool comparison right here as well. Alright, so that is going to wrap up this review on the Marvel Legends Spider-Man No Way Home Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man figure by Hasbro. So not a lot to say on these since they are about the same as the first go around, but I do like these unmasked head sculpts. I think they do capture the likeness of Toby and Andrew. Definitely not perfect by all means, but it gets the job done. But let me know, what are your thoughts on this in the comments down below. If you want to pick these up, they are currently hitting retail. I had mine pre-order on Amazon, of course, so that's how I got mine. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review. But until then, take care, my friends.